Hi there, welcome to my channel where I take you on tours of unique homes and showcase stories of people living alternatively. In today's episode, we're meeting up with Brad, who found himself working so many hours on the road that he might as well convert his truck into his full-time home. And while that might not sound like your cup of tea, just wait till you see the inside of his self-converted box truck, because he's turned it into a clever micro apartment on wheels that has everything you would have in a regular home with the ability to be anywhere. And if you like videos like this one, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because that's the only way you're gonna know every single time we publish a new episode.
I'm Nomad Brad, and this is my box truck. Before I started living in a vehicle, I was actually a heating and air conditioning technician. I was driving around in a service van 50, sometimes 60 hours a week, and I would spend all day there. I realized I was really only going home to like shower and sleep, and how much extra work I was having to do in order to pay for the house that I was only visiting for a few hours in the evening. And so that was kind of the first thing that got my wheels turning as to maybe I shouldn't go home. Maybe this van should be my home. This is my second box truck, and so I absolutely love this platform. This build took the most time out of any of my builds. It was about 1.5 years building it on and off. And so I ended up purchasing this for $13,000. And then once I bought it, I spent probably $2,500 on kind of the maintenance. And then on the build out itself, I just started swiping my credit card at Home Depot and I lost track of everything. And I think I have about another $10,000 into, just the raw materials. To make a living, I do two different things. I make some income from YouTube, and then additionally, just over the last year, I've started actually offering electrical and solar services for people. So this lifestyle has been an absolute mindset shift. In my previous life, my free time and a lot of the things that I wanted to do and pursue, I ended up trading that for money so I could pay the bills. I just kind of realized that I really valued time more than I did money. Living this lifestyle now has allowed me to be able to work less because I need less money to cover my overhead. And so this winter, I actually drove down to my dad's house and I stayed with him for about 3 months. Just really got some quality time, which I realized the older I get and the older he gets, there's gonna be less opportunities for that. And I would just hate to get to a point where I don't have that time. And then I realized I was busy working and I couldn't spend time with him. Oh man. It's super important to live the life that is important for you and not the life that you feel like you have to live. This is my box truck. It's a 2007 Ford Econoline E450. When I bought it, it was completely white front to back, and I actually had a Nomad friend wrap it for me in the desert. We went back to the U-Haul colors, so we did a complete orange color change on the cab. It's a vinyl, so it was pretty inexpensive, but it really gives the rig kind of a fresh look and makes it look like a much newer rig than it actually is. So this engine has the V10, it's the 6.8 liter, and it's plenty of power. This thing's pretty loaded down, has a gross weight of capacity of 14,000. I did take it on the scales and I'm just under 12,000 pounds. So even with all that weight, the engine has no problem accelerating and passing and going up hills. It's been a really good unit. So bumper to bumper, this rig is about 21 feet, which is really nice because it does fit into a traditional parking space. As far as height goes, I am just under 11 feet tall, so I really don't run into any situations where I can't pass through an obstacle. And then width-wise, the box of the truck is just under about 7.5 feet wide. So I really like this ladder. It folds down pretty small and I store it inside. It sets up pretty easily. It allows me to access the roof, watch the sunsets, or when I'm doing work for a client, then I can easily get up on the roof and carry up solar panels. And then right here, hidden under the vinyl wrap, I have a freshwater fill. And so it was important to me to have a gravity fill. So just in case I'm in a location where I don't have access to a hose, I can still just fill it with gravity from some kind of a regular water container. So for freshwater inside, I have a 30-gallon tank. And then moving on to the back, I have a shore power outlet right here. So it has a 30-amp power in. But then additionally, I do have an adapter that allows me to plug in a regular extension cord. And then moving on to the back, I do have this Climb Air 12,000 BTU inverter style mini split. It does both heating and air conditioning. And I made a custom mounting bracket system for it, so it's super sturdy. And my concern with the mini split is that it would not hold up over time because the back of the truck does bounce quite a bit when I'm driving. But so far, 1.5 years, this thing still operates just fine. Haven't had any issues. This is still the original roll-up door. I just added a sheet of plywood over the front of the roll-up door. And then I added this, I think it's T11 siding and painted it white. And so that gives it kind of a nice exterior finish. It's waterproofed. And then of course I have the RV entry door there in the center. So it came with the ramp. My last box truck didn't have a ramp. And so actually what I do with it is when I'm working and building and doing client jobs, I slide the ramp out about like this, and then I have actually a workspace. So I can put my tools and my equipment right here, connect wires, do whatever I need to do. And so it's almost like a little bit of an outdoor table, and it always travels with me. And I guess when I get really old, you know, then I can slide the ramp out and shuffle on up inside the box. And then on the driver's side, I have up top, that is the exhaust for my kitchen vent hood. So it's got a cool little flap on it so that when the exhaust hood is off, the flap stays closed, keeps out rain and bugs. And then when you kick on the fan, it pushes the flap open and allows all the fumes to escape. So what I really like about the Econoline front end, specifically the U-Haul versions, is they have this extra piece right here behind the cab. On a lot of box trucks, it's just the cab and then the box sits right on top of it. But because you have this extra like 10 inches, it allows your seat to actually recline back a little bit. So it's actually pretty comfortable. When you're driving it, you can rest the seat back, and there's also some room behind my seat to store some tools and some other things. Hey, what's up? Come on in. My main goal in building this box truck is I wanted it to feel large. And so one thing I love about it is I can stick my arms all the way out and I don't touch the walls. And I have 7-foot ceilings. So just generally it's pretty open and it feels big, and I like that a lot. The priority in my build is I really wanted a lot of counter space. So I do a lot of building and things that require a lot of room to work. And so that was one thing I did. I wanted a huge kitchen counter space. These are just like composite pressboard countertops from Lowe's. This piece here is almost 10 feet long. I wanted lots of storage, so I did overhead sliding cabinets. And I decided to do the slides because I didn't have to buy hinges, and also I didn't have to buy any kind of a locking mechanism. So this was just super simple and cheap to build. And then additionally, I have a kind of a bed bench combination down here. So this configuration right here, this is kind of my day bed mode. I can look out the windows, look out the door, and I have a little workspace where I can work on my laptop. And then additionally, this also folds up into a bench to match the bench on this side. And so if I'm in a position where I have a bunch of people hanging out and I want to have maximum seating, I can actually seat like 6 people in here super comfortably. And then in the evening, all this slides together, and it's actually a queen size 8-inch memory foam mattress. So it's super comfortable, lots of room to move around, and you can definitely sleep 2 people. And then over here, I really wanted to add a closet, but I didn't want to give up a whole lot of space. I didn't want a full floor to ceiling closet. So I built this little half closet. And so I do actually have shirts and jackets hung up in there. And so it allows me to have things that don't get wrinkled and still keep them looking nice. So these upper cabinets, I did go with the door style on these instead of the sliders. I just wanted to do something different. These I put together pretty quick and lightweight. It's just 1/4-inch panel board and it's framed out with 1x2s. So super lightweight. It's not a lot of stress on the wall or the ceiling, and it has a lot of storage space. So up here is all basically clothing. And then moving on down here, I have these little cubes that I got online. The upper one is underwear and socks. And then the bottom one here is t-shirts. And so the idea was for things like those, I just kind of reach in and grab something. I'm not having to really search for a specific item. So it's just super convenient to have them stacked up that way. And then on this box, there's about 30 inches by 30 inches of additional storage space. And so I just have kind of some extra stuff up here. And this is where I located the indoor portion of my mini split air conditioner. And so the reason I put it up at the end of the attic was so that when it's running, it blows the cool air across the whole length of the box truck. And so you kind of get a nice even temperature from end to end. And then one thing that I always like to have just for my own peace of mind is I want to make sure I have a way to get from the box into the cab of the vehicle without going outside. And so I went ahead and installed this pass-through door. And this is actually something that I had to cut through the box as well as through the cab of the vehicle. They're 2 separate pieces. There's about a 6-inch gap in between. And so this is a Lippert Components 42-inch entry door. And so they use these on like RVs and trailers to get into like storage areas. And so I found one on eBay for pretty cheap and ordered it and installed it into the wall here. So now if I need to, if I'm in a situation in the evening, I can just fold the bed up. It only takes me a few seconds and I can easily hop up into the driver's seat and drive away. So my build out is fully electric. I don't use propane for heating or cooking. And so to keep with that theme, I decided to go with an induction cooktop. I have 2 burners. I use one for heating water in a tea kettle. And then I have another burner I can use for, cooking eggs or bacon or kind of whatever I want to eat. So the thing I love about using all electric is you don't have to refill propane tanks and you don't have to spend money on fuel. All the power comes directly from the sun and it really doesn't cost me any money. And then additionally, because I do cook a lot in the van, I wanted a way to get all the fumes and the cooking grease out without, clogging up the van. So I installed this stainless residential kitchen hood, and it is a traditional 110 volt range hood. And then I put an external vent on the outside. So it pulls all the cooking fumes directly outside. So this fridge right here, this is the Mr. Frozen. And I love it. I was just shopping online looking for a cheap fridge, and this one was only like 500 bucks, which is pretty cheap for a DC compressor refrigerator. So I like that it's big. I think it's like 3.2 cubic feet. It's got lots of room for everything I need. It's got a freezer on top that I use on occasion. And then underneath I have storage. Down in this one is where I keep all my shoes. So that way all the dirt and the pine needles and everything just stay down, hidden away. Got all my shoes down here. And then over on this side is where I have my lithium batteries. So I have 2 200 amp hour 12.8 volt lithium batteries. It's about 5120 watt hours of energy. So for the lighting, I wanted to have an even, smooth light throughout the entire box because I do a lot of filming and photography in here. So what I did is I just got LED, it's just traditional LED strip lighting, but they sell these aluminum channels that you can mount the lighting into. And so I just used glue and I glued the aluminum track to the ceiling. And then I just stuck the light strips inside, and then you put these little diffused covers on them. And it runs the whole length of my box truck. There's a remote. You can turn it off, you can turn it on, you can dim it, and you can also change the color temperature. Moving on over, we got a big sink. I wanted to have lots of room to wash out pots and pans And what I really like about this is it has a drip tray down inside. So like when I'm washing dishes, I just turn them upside down, let everything drip out and dry down in there. And then also up here, there's a second spot to just let your dishes sit. It's got a cutting board. Everything locks in place, so when you're driving and bumping down the road, nothing comes out. So I got a light up mirror, which I use. It's easier to see at night. During the day, there's already plenty of light in here, but this is actually the light source that I use pretty much every evening. When I'm hanging out in here, I have all the other lights off, and so I keep this one on low and it kind of illuminates the van. And then moving on over here, this is where all the magic happens. This is where I hang out, edit my videos, eat my meals. And so I have this chair that I got that just slides right underneath when I'm traveling, and then it's adjustable. So you can just kind of come over and scoot up, and I can just work on my laptop. And this is my favorite thing because I can work on my laptop and I'm looking out the window, I'm watching the ocean, I'm seeing the sand, I'm seeing palm trees. So it's a pretty nice office view. So for my workspace, I wanted to do something colorful. When I first finished the build, it was all white and gray, and I realized I needed some color. This is just a piece of 3/4 plywood. It's nothing fancy, but I painted it white, and then I did a layer of orange epoxy. And then there's a process where you can then add spray paint. And so I added black and white spray paint. And then when the spray paint's wet, you drip alcohol onto it. And then when it hits, it makes these like circle formations. And so now I have all these kind of cool, trippy texture and patterns. And I really like it. I sit here and I look at it and pretty proud of it. Pretty happy how it turned out. This is just blackout fabric that I bought on Amazon. The roll was like 12 bucks. And I just used some trim and a little latch to kind of secure it closed. And so I've tested it out at night with all the lights on inside and the curtains down on both windows. If you walk around the box truck, you can't see any light get out at all. So I use these for all my city stealth camping, so I can be hanging out in here and just being ridiculous, have the lights on, and nobody knows that I'm home. And the windows, I did emergency exit style windows, and I like these because they push out, so you can actually leave them open during the day if it's rainy. The rain doesn't really come in unless it's super windy. A lot of people want to know about the toilet. So right down here, I have a Boxio separation toilet. I like it a lot because it separates your liquid and solid waste. And it's really simple because you can just use it for like a solid waste. And then when it's done, you just tie the bag up and throw it away. So there's not much maintenance, and it's pretty odor free. And it's really compact and a pretty low price. So I'm really happy with that separation toilet, and I enjoy using it. That's the biggest thing. I've had other style toilets in the past, but I found them to be a lot of like maintenance, and you end up not wanting to use them because it's kind of a hassle, but this one's really easy. And then additionally, I do perform solar work for folks, and so I needed a place to store tools and parts, and so I found this locking composite tool chest, and so I use this almost every day. The bottom 3 or 4 drawers are all full of parts and tools that I use to complete my electrical projects. So how has this home changed my lifestyle? It's really just changed my life for the better. I think part of it for me is I'm always craving adventure and newness. I can live in the desert in the winter. Right now I'm in San Diego. I'm sleeping on the beach. You know, I'm in beautiful locations, and I can just kind of change those up as I decide that I want something new. If you're someone that likes adventure, then this lifestyle is absolutely, it's addictive, and I love it.
Thanks for watching this week's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and I will see you soon with another unique home tour.